Hello everyone. I first of all want to wish you all a very happy new year. Obviously it's January the 1st, 2025 today, so I'm bringing you the Mannequin of the Month for January 2025. As is typical, the topic we're going to talk about was chosen via a poll over on Patreon. And what we're looking at here is the uniform and kit of a private in the Royal Army Service Corps serving in Aden circa 1959. Of course, this predates the Aden emergency of the later 1960s. There was certainly some disquiet in the Radfan up country, but the port itself was still fairly stable at this point, and obviously the military base was still very much active. There wasn't really a plan for withdrawal in the late 1950s. That developed through the 1960s and obviously led to the struggle and the various independence movements to be seen to be driving the British out, and that led to the spiralling violence in Aden in the later 1960s. So at this time period, we're talking about a period before that, and this is obviously Royal Army Service Corps troops involved in supply, motor transport, that sort of thing, and obviously heavily involved with the large military base which was present in Aden at the time. So the uniform and kit we have here is suitable for the environment in Aden. Obviously it's a very hot country in the Gulf. So start at the top here, and we actually have the sort of standard headdress, the standard headgear of the time, which is the midnight blue beret. No concession to the tropical climate here, but we do have the desert climate rather, and we do have that there with the Royal Army Service Corps cap badge. In this instance, it's Elizabeth II cap badge in stay bright anodized aluminium as opposed to brass or gilding metal. We have that there, which would be fairly typical by the late 1950s, although you'd probably still see the occasional Georgia Tech's badge knocking around as well. So that's the cap badge we have here on the standard midnight blue beret. The uniform itself, what we have on the mannequin here is fairly simple. The uniform itself is the khaki Airtex or cellular bush jacket and khaki drill trousers of 1950 pattern, and this uniform was of course produced in both green for use in jungle environments and tropical environments, and in khaki as we have here for use in arid environments as you find in Aden. So we have that there, basically the standard sort of desert arid uniform for the British Army in the late 1950s and into the 1960s. The web equipment we have here is the 1944 pattern. We have the two pouches at the front here, two basic pouches supported by the braces there, and of course clipped onto the waist belt here, and you can see the buckle for that in the centre there. Talking a little bit more about the bush jacket, I omitted to do so before, but the bush jacket itself, you can see the two chest pockets here. There are two lower pockets which aren't that clear to see, but there are flaps for those underneath here. The upper pockets are pleated and have scalloped pocket flaps. It is something that's been covered on the channel previously. Certainly I've talked about the green version of this. I'm not sure if I've made a video specifically talking about the khaki version, so we'll have to talk about that at some point in the future. But that's the uniform and the web equipment, the details of that we can see at the front here. We'll start moving this around now and have a look at some of the other details. Looking at the right hand side of the mannequin here, we can see various details of the equipment and the bush jacket. We'll talk about the details of the bush jacket first. You can see the epaulette up on the shoulder here, with the rolled up sleeve, not particularly neat. It's a little difficult to do that on the mannequin without an arm inside, but the rolled up sleeve there. And then down here on the jacket, you can see the vent in the rear there and the full skirts as well. You can also see the stitching for the lower pocket there as well. And in terms of the equipment, you can see the side profile of the basic pouch at the front there. You can see around here we have a loop, which was of course originally intended to stabilise the rifle when carried slung over the shoulder. Not generally used and often clipped up out of the way, but that's just loose there. As you can see, they were sometimes cut off as well later in the life of 1944 pattern equipment. They really weren't much use. And then you can see another interesting feature of the 1944 pattern, which is the strap coming round from the braces here, which clips onto the side of the belt to give extra support there. It does also mean the equipment can in theory be unclipped when the belt, which is in three parts, can be unclipped and hang more loosely if required to give more ventilation and so forth. It's another feature of the design. We'll see more of this when we look at the back of the mannequin. And of course you have the water bottle carried from the set of eyelets on the bottom there using M1910 type hanger hooks. You can see that there, basically brought across from US equipment with which 1944 pattern was supposed to be somewhat compatible in terms of machetes and things like this. So you can see that there, the water bottle round on the hip. That's basically all we can see on the right hand side here. So we'll move this around now and have a look at the back. Looking at the back here, you can again see the water bottle suspended from the two eyelets around the bottom edge of the belt here, and you can see the eyelets around that bottom edge there, which allow this sort of equipment to be carried, machetes and things like that. At the back of the belt, the braces in part attach to the belt in the same way as the preceding 1937 pattern. You have two buckles there through which the straps coming off the outer part of the wider sections that pass over the shoulder here go down to those, and then the inner two straps, which are stitched together there, pass round and clip onto the belt as we saw at the side there. So you have these multiple points of support, which is quite a departure from the 1937 pattern equipment, an interesting feature of the design. The 1944 pattern, to mention here, it seems to be quite commonly used by the Royal Army Service Corps and latterly the Royal Corps of Transport in Aden. You actually see a mix of 1944 and 1958 pattern later in the 1960s. Just an interesting detail to note. Generally it was theatre issue, so it's interesting to see the Royal Army Service Corps and later the RCT with 1944 pattern out in Aden. That's the back of the mannequin there. Few details to see on the bush jacket here. You have the stitched in belt there, and now normally this would extend round to the front and have a buckle attached. That's been removed in this case, which was quite a common modification for these. It makes them uncomfortable to wear with equipment, and you can see the darts and so forth in the back here to give a bit of expansion but nip it down at the waist and make this both comfortable and a smart garment to wear as well, although this one is a little bit tatty, which is not uncommon for the bush jackets. They did see quite a lot of use. We'll move this round now and have a look at the left hand side. Looking at the left-hand side of the mannequin here, you can see a little bit more clearly here the pocket flap for the lower pocket on the bush jacket there, the vent side here. You can see the rear pocket on the trousers here and the side leg pocket there. The 1950 pattern, of course, you can't see this detail, but they fasten at the waist with a crossover belt design, which we have discussed on the channel previously. I've shown that on the channel previously in videos looking at this uniform specifically, or this pattern of uniform. You can see, again, details of the web equipment here, the way the belt is supported around the side there, the strap coming round, which clips into into a little C-hook, essentially on this little shape here, and then it can be adjusted in using this buckle to properly support the belt. A detail here, of course, on the left-hand basic pouch, you have loops for carriage of a bayonet if required. In this instance, a bayonet isn't carried, but you can see that detail on the side of the pouch there. And that's it. That's the left-hand side of the mannequin. So I hope you found it interesting looking at this. It's been nice to put this set of equipment together on the mannequin, a little bit different compared to the topics which have been covered recently. So again, it just means that I always have something different in the front room on the mannequin, which is a rather nice way of doing things really. And obviously, much as I post options on the poll, I'm never quite sure exactly what's going to be displayed. So from that point of view, always very pleasing to put together another mannequin of the month. And I hope you found it interesting looking at this kit as we have it displayed here. If you have found this interesting and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below, and that will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as I always say, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. Really, it's greatly appreciated, and thank you all very much indeed. Of course, if you want to vote on what's going to be covered in Mannequin of the Month each month, it's the corporal tier over on Patreon that gives you that option. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below, and there will of course be photographs of this posted up over there as well on those various platforms. And if you'd like to get in touch with me but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address in the description as well. That's everything for this video, so until next time, bye for now.